Good morning. It is February 15th, 2019. We are on our way to Newtown, Pennsylvania. Property management company that we deal with contacted us. They have a property that just became available again, and one of the bedrooms is a hideous pink color, as they described to me. So they chose lazy gray from Sherwin-Williams. We're going to go in there. We're going to paint the walls lazy gray. I'll show you some video clips of that. I'll show you how I cut in. I have shown this in other videos as well, but we'll go over it again. Maybe I'll get better footage this time. And we'll do that right after this. All right, so we just got in through the lockbox here. It's nice that the house is empty. I'm gonna come in here and we're going to look for this pink room. Ah, there it is, right at the top of the stairs. And it is very pink. Stars on the ceiling that glow in the dark. Seams are all cracked at the ceiling. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's in desperate need of caulking before it's painted. Does this camera show that or not? But it's definitely in need of caulking. And it's a very poor job. But this is light enough that this will act as a primer coat, because there was a darker color behind here as evident in this corner here. So they put this pink on here, they put one coat on. It will act as a primer coat for me. So I might be able to get these two coats on without having to prime anything, which is a wonderful thing. And I do have to measure this room because the price is dependent on the size of the room. And then they want a price for painting everything else, this room and rooms downstairs. All right, so it's finally cooled down in here. Let me show you what I did to the steps so that the place is protected. Anything gets on your feet, it won't get on the carpet. This is latex paint, so if for some reason there was still a dab that got on this tile, you could wipe it right up. I do have booties that I wear as well, but by the time you walk down all these stairs, if you got a drop of paint on your feet, it's gone. I can guarantee you that. So anyway, I brought the paint in, got everything caulked. I got one more gallon to bring in, and I got to bring in the trays, and then we'll start taking light covers off. The reason I did the caulking first is so it has time to cure. It's 20-minute caulk, has time to cure while and look, she put that in the window. While I do the other things that I need to do. So this way the caulk is drying. In 20 minutes the light covers will be already off, and I'll be able to start mixing, putting paint in the pan and start cutting in. So you're probably wondering, why am I recording me taking off the cover plate? I just want to make sure you understand it's important to take these off. If you try to paint around them, it's not going to look right. Even if you want to take the time to cut it in perfectly, it ain't worth it. Take the screw out, paint right close to it. When it dries, you put it back on. It's a much more professional look. Do that to everything. Take off the curtain holders like I told you. Take off the cable box, telephone, anything that's there. High-speed internet jacks. Take the covers off. light switches, put them all back when you're done. Just don't lose the screws. Okay, so real quick, I just want to show you the telephone jack. It's probably no longer in use, but it's got to go back on there. So I put the screws back in so I wouldn't lose them, because they're obviously not going to stay in here. You don't have to disconnect these. You can if you want to, and remember which color goes to where. You can leave it hang just like this, paint under it and around it. When it dries, put it back on. That's what I'm going to do, leave the screws in there. The other thing I wanted to show you was you can paint around it or you can take it off. This was the heating vent cover, and the reason I'm taking it off is because I want to show you that they never took it off when they painted it pink. And it leaves that ridge there, and if the plate comes off and goes back on and it don't go back on exactly where it is, it's going to look a little silly. You're going to see a brown showing through. Take it off, paint it, do it right. All the cover plates are off. We'll check the caulking in the last place we started, the last place we put it on. This way we know if it's dry. The last place I put caulking on was on the side of this window. And it is dry and ready to be painted. So I know the first place that I put it up on the ceiling is most definitely dry. So now we're gonna mix the paint up, cut in, work our way from the back towards the front. This way, as we get to the doorway, it's all done and we can start back there again and work our way back out of the room. What I do is I start out here and I drag into it. Start away from it and drag into it, and then back brush. Tap off one side of your brush, clean the other on the wall, start where you already have paint, and drag into it. Right along the line you want, and then back brush. And if you're using Sherwin-Williams ProMar 200 paint, which is the contractor grade paint, don't paint it too much. Get it on there, leave it alone. Otherwise it'll streak on you and it won't be easy to apply. Once it looks fine, second coat goes on a lot easier. Alright, so when you get your roller wet, don't dry it completely off. What you want to do, I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not. You want to get it wet and spin it as you go to the wall. This way you get some paint on the wall. And don't overdo it. Don't try to stretch it real far. Put it on there. Keep a wet edge. Always keep your edge wet. This way, when you're putting it on, it overlaps. All right, so that wall took me about half an hour to cut in around all the windows and along the base. It was a little bit time consuming, but we're back. I'm getting ready to roll it. I've back rolled all of the edges already, and next to the windows and up along the ceiling. So now we're just putting on the first coat. And like I said, you want to put it on a little thick. You don't want to wear it. You don't want to put it on so it's thin. If you do, it's just making more work for yourself. You'll have to go back and do 3 coats if you're too skimpy, you know. Now when you roll this, you'll hide most of these brush strokes. The ones that's real close to the door, like in here, you're obviously not going to get a roller in there. But if you don't roll them and you roll everything else, nobody will realize that that part is flat paint with stroke marks in it. It's obvious, it'll actually hide itself. If you look for it, you'll notice it. Just like back behind the door over here, you can't get a roller in there. It's the only way to paint it, unless you're spraying the room. So don't be afraid of that. Leave the brush strokes in the areas that's real hard to get to. Nobody is going to see them. All right, so there's the first coat on everything. We still got to put a second coat on the whole room. This is the wall we started with. This is the wall we'll start the second coat on. I mean, if you look at it, it looks pretty good, but if you look close, there are still small spots where you can see light colors or where pink might be shining through, and that's why you always have to do a second coat. Right here, I don't know if you can see it, but you always got to do a second coat. And then by the time we get around the room and put our second coat on the wall that's directly behind us, we'll be able to put all the curtain stuff back up again and all the outlet covers back on. There are a few areas in this room that need drywall repair. Up there, the ceiling is one of them, but they didn't want that. They just wanted the basic paint job, no repairs really. She did up a little bit for me to caulk around the ceiling because it was cracks, but that's it. All right, so I'm going to take a 5-minute break, go grab a bottle of water, down that, and I'll come back and we'll start the second coat. All right, so we're putting the second coat on now. And again, keep a wet edge with everything. Second coat will definitely cover all of the pink and previous colors below that. It looked like there was a gray below the pink. Oddly enough, it was very close to this color, and I could see it in some spots popping through pretty well. But we're going to do the second coat on here, move on to that wall, and this wall. Then I'll show you what the final project looks like, and we'll get things put back together. All right, so what you do when you're all done painting, you take your roller, leave it on the handle, stick it in a bag, nice thick bag, make sure there's no holes in it, bunch it up, and twist it around. That will keep it from drying. You don't have to put it in the refrigerator or anything. It'll keep it from drying. Actually, it'll hold it like that for like several days. I'm going to take it back to the shop, rinse it out in a sink or in a bucket like I was telling you before. And if I do it in the bucket, I'll videotape it so you know what I'm talking about. But other than that, I use my 5-in-1 tool and I clean it right right in the shop sink, cleans up real nice. Then I spin it out with a spinner. So that's how you take care of that. And then your brush, same thing. You're just gonna stick that into a bag. And I try to roll it so that it's nice and tight so it doesn't get all over the handle. But you roll it up. Don't mess with the bristles. The bristles end here. I fold way up there and back here, and that'll keep that from getting all crusty. When I leave paint for the customer, I stick it inside of a bag. This way, if there's a ring at the end or it leaves a stain, it leaves it in the bag and it don't leave it on the carpet or on the floor in the closet or whatever. So you're just gonna take the paint can, sit it right in here, roll it down, tie it up, and leave it for them.